he doesn't want to come in and be a stopgap. It would mean leaving the high school program that he's coaching for a few weeks because, again, Mortensen's saying that it's more of a 5-week injury recovery time than the 12 that we heard. It's a 5 to 12 window.
Carson Wentz. Come on, man. When is anything?
So they're going to go with Jacob Eason then. They're going to see Jacob Eason. They want to see him versus live reps. They got to know what they've got in him, and this will give them that opportunity this preseason. And again, Carson Wentz could be back for the first week of the season.
Nah, I doubt that. You got to err on the side of caution with Carson Wentz, right? I think Quentin Nelson coming back because he's a tough guy, right? You talk about Carson Wentz, a guy that have struggled with injuries his entire career, and I don't think you force him back on the short end of surgery because this is a marathon. So you rush him all the way back for week 1. He does it twice. You injure it twice. It's a wrap, right? So you have to be sure that bone is healed, that he's healthy, that he's confident. You can't rush him back. And knowing that what you're rushing him back to, you're rushing him back to the Rams, you're rushing him back to the Ravens, you're rushing him back to the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't teams that you get healthy against. Those aren't teams that you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to show my mobility, after or trust my foot. You want to let them come back against a soft landing. I think you try and go out and either get Nick Foles or you get somebody that's a little bit better than Eason. Eason may be a great quarterback. This ain't the time to find out if you got aspirations on trying to get above 500 so you can have an opportunity. Right there, even with Carson Wentz, those are possibly 5 L's.
Yeah, early in the season, they absolutely have the gauntlet. You showing it there. Seahawks, Rams, Titans, at the Dolphins, at the Ravens, which brings us back to the Nick Foles conversation because it just makes too much sense. The familiarity there between the quarterback and the head coach and the offense. But Frank Reich was asked about Nick Foles, and this is what he had to say about him yesterday.
This is Carson's team, first of all. I mean, he's our quarterback, and we're so excited about having him, and he knows that. This team knows that. When we brought him here for one reason. It wasn't to, he's going to compete, but it wasn't he's going to come in here and lead this football team. I don't mind talking about Nick Foles. I love Nick Foles. I mean, he plays for the Chicago Bears and haven't talked to him, but I think he's a great player. I think he's proven that. I think he's a great teammate. There's nothing about Nick Foles I don't like. I think he's a winner. He's certainly a guy that fits our kind of culture, but he plays for the Chicago Bears. We're glad we got the guys we got, and we're focusing on getting our team better, and I'm excited about that and the players that we have.
When people start answering stuff that you didn't even ask a question to, like nobody asks if Nick Foles comes, is it an open competition? But he's sitting up there, he's talking to an audience of one. I mean, geez, is Carson Wentz this weak mentally? Like, he's like, well, just make this sure this is Carson Wentz's team. Of course it is. Y'all gave up first-round draft picks for him. Of course we know that this is his team. His salary says that it's his team. Why does that need to be said? What's understood don't need to be said. So I think he's trying to make sure to tell Carson Wentz, listen, man, if we bring in Nick Foles, it's still your team. This isn't the Ghost of Christmas Past. This isn't, Scrooge. He ain't coming to get your spot. We just may need him to get us through, and he's available. And he would be a good backup. If he was your backup, he might be one of the best backups in the league, especially within that system. A guy that you can trust, a guy not only that you can trust, a guy that you can tailor your offense to what he does well because you know exactly what he does well with the RPOs and how he can get the team going. But this just signals to me, yeah, you might not have to call him, but you had some, a friend of a friend relaying messages to him because, listen, they're guts. They can't even hold their poker face. They're like smiling as he fits the culture. He's a great guy, all those things. But, he's under contract with the Chicago Bears. For how long?
Well, and the issue with the Chicago Bears, of course, is that they have Andy Dalton, who they're saying is their
QB1.
number one. And then they've got
QB1.
Justin Fields, who people think will take over at some point this season. So you got Nick Foles just hanging out on the roster. You got him just hanging out,
right,
holding the clipboard.
If you can trade him and take that money off of your salary cap, that allows you to go out when we have these cuts where, probably the first set of cuts, if you really care about somebody and you respect them like Nick Foles, then you cut them early so they can find another job. And that's going to allow you to have that secondary free agent market where you can go out there, you can improve your football team because it's going to be a good player, a good veteran player that may not fit on his current team that can be a missing piece for your team.
Okay, so play GM, play coach for me right now.
Yep.
If you're the Colts and you're running things and Carson Wentz is going to be out, let's say 5 to 6 weeks on the shorter end of that scale, are you going with Jacob Eason?
No.
Are you giving Brett Hundley any reps?
No.
Or you're going out and getting Nick Foles?
You see who we playing? I want somebody that can defend themselves. I don't know if Eason can defend himself, especially I don't know if he can defend himself without the best guard, arguably the best offensive lineman
going back to Nelson's
in the game.
injury.
Right, so you're talking about teams that got good nose guards or got good blitzing linebackers going to give him pressure up the middle. Eason may be a guy with a big, strong arm, but he's not a guy that got that, he don't got the dead leg. He can't make you miss in the pocket. he's a guy that can be a sitting duck if you get interior pressure. So against those teams, you think about, okay, well, the Rams, #1 defense. Okay, the Baltimore Ravens, one of the better defenses. I'm not sitting a young guy there to lose his confidence and for us to say, you know what, this guy can't play. It's not time for him yet to go out there and see if he can play, right? And you don't really have the run game that you would normally have because you don't have the best, pulling guard in all the business.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.